Hello, knife people. I decided to make this video for anyone looking to upgrade from the Lansky system. If you are new to knife sharpening or are curious about the Hapstone, I hope this will help you as well. This will be a general review after sharpening just over a dozen knives with the Hapstone system. The few reviews I've seen on this system seem to be more or less ads from people who have received the product for free. I rolled the dice and chose the Hapstone, paying for it out of pocket. What you will see here is around $400 worth of honest, unbiased opinion. My first impression of this system, when putting it together, was that it felt sufficiently sturdy. After using it, I found that a few parts could have been made larger, but overall the build quality feels solid enough to hold up. I broke the system back down for this review, so you can get an idea of the design and build quality. Let's begin with the base. It's heavy enough, but not long enough. While it will not tip on you with pocket knives, kitchen knives will immediately show its shortcoming. If sharpening a chef knife longer than 8 inches, you would have to use a C-clamp or bolt the base to a table. 3 small rubber pads are glued to the bottom. I really do not see these lasting very long. Something larger and more durable should have been used here. Tapped and threaded, not glued. The clamps are sturdy and work very well. They work on the same principle as the Lansky system, but perform much better. As you can see, they could easily handle a 14-inch blade. Sadly, the base is not up to the same task. Turning and adjusting the clamps on the rail is surprisingly easy. The angled clamps give you a lot of options. Once you have the knife locked in, this is all you have to do. This action is hands down the best part of the system. The clamps have a little give when you apply pressure, but this does not have a negative outcome on your work. The clamps, support rail, and module are the most well thought out and most useful part of this system. At first glance, you might think that some rubber tips should have been provided here. These clamps hold so well that no mark was left on any of my knives. The hinge block turns smoothly, and the rod slides easily enough. If you buy this system, plan on making one modification immediately. These little thumb screws can be picked up at your local hardware store. The hinge block comes in the box with this type of screw, which looks fairly large. This hinge block will need to be adjusted just about every time you change stones, and it needs to be really tight. Trust me, this screw head will make your fingertips ache in no time. Do yourself a huge favor and get a thumb screw to replace it. The differences in stone thickness is an issue for another video, but as you can see here, simply buying the same brand of stones makes no difference in uniformity, which means you must adjust the hinge block between nearly every stone. The handle and clamping block present their own problems for this sharpening system. First, the handle is too small. It is also too close to the clamping block. When you grip this little knob, the corners of the clamping block, and they are pretty sharp, dig into your knuckles. After about 10 minutes of use, this becomes noticeably painful, and you are forced to hold the tiny knob like so. I brought home some rubber tape from work to apply to the corners. In all probability, this will just end up making a sticky mess. It's still pretty sharp, but it's better. The clamping block holds another surprise. It doesn't clamp very well, which sucks because that is its sole purpose. The problem is most apparent when you try to speed up using finer stones. I find myself constantly having to stop and realign the stones. The tension is adjustable using this screw. This works by adding pressure onto the spring at the opposite end of the block, which in turn
brings the sharp edges of the clamping block even closer to your fingers. This added tension keeps the stones in place, as intended. But this creates yet another problem. The stones can only be inserted from the side at this point. This in turn causes this piece to loosen, which is held in place by an extremely soft screw. I used the proper sized Phillips tip here. There is no other way to say this. As received, the clamping block and handle suck. They need to be reworked. While agitating, this was not a deal breaker for me. There isn't a large market for guided sharpening systems. This particular model has not been on the market very long, and as with any new product, the company needs time to receive feedback to work out the bugs. And to be fair, the size of my hand did nothing to help here. Once you move past the Lansky, and you should definitely start there if you are new, you quickly realize that sharpening knives is an obscure hobby. I definitely caught the fever. Each sharpening system has its strong points and weaknesses. I chose the Hapstone because it is an easy progression for me. Keep in mind that I have a lot to learn. After watching this review, spend the time and watch as many videos as you can to decide which system is right for you. Alright, back to the review.
I was curious to see how the Hapstone would work with small knives. My wife's little Protect blade is less than 2 inches, but it was easy to sharpen using the clamps. With smaller knives, the stones will rub on the frame or scales. This isn't a flaw with the system, you just need to use a little painter's tape. If you decide to buy the Hapstone, I would advise against buying this fine tuner. The system comes with this little knob in the box, and it will work good enough to set the angle. The fine tuner is purportedly to make setting the angle easier. Notice how much is charged for this little jewel. Learn from my mistake, folks. On top of this, you will be nickel and dimed for these end stoppers. You will need these for the system to work efficiently. They should be included with the purchase. Although there is some room for improvement, I in no way regret buying the Hapstone system. I had been using the Lansky system for about 10 years prior to buying this. I had only used it to sharpen my work knife and my wife's kitchen knives, which I came to view as a chore. The Hapstone is safer, easier on your hands, and faster. A lot faster. I've never gotten a knife as sharp as the Hapstone is capable of. It's actually fun to get an edge this sharp on a knife. Another great thing about this system is that you can use different size sharpening stones. Better still, you are not stuck using one brand of sharpening stone. I have used stones from 4 separate manufacturers since purchasing the Hapstone. You can even purchase blank aluminum plates and mount your own stones or strops. If you are thinking about buying a sharpening system, I hope this video helped. If you have any questions, ask me in the comments.